vakapara aisiyo nyika yavakafira izere vane misodzi vaida kusunungura nyika munhu wese agarike nyika yedu vakomana kuitwa private nezano mhaka yevavasikana kumanyararireiko tovaona vana vafaro vari kufamba nezano mondifungisa kure ndafunga kure kairo hwakamboikaka kidira kaberekwa aida kusanangura nyika munhu wese agari koiro kukura hundiri vakafire vanhu makumi nemakumi kuvikwa muguva rimwe chete aiseyo nyika yavakafira izere vane misodzi yakafumbatwa nemabhinya baba chirenje baba chirenje baba.
Welcome to everyone. It's that time of the day again where we have our news review, where we take a look at the news items that made the headlines on Change Radio News over the past week. My name is Sophia Tekwani, and I just want to welcome you all over the world. You may be Mangwanani, Maswera sei, Mamuka sei, Tinokushinga Midzai, kune chino chirongwa che our weekly news review. Patinange tichitarisa nyaya dzakapisa muChange Radio News dzanga dziri munhau vhiki rapera. Nhasi handisi ndega, ndina champion Danford Jory namukoma makomborero Arizuvishe. Tichange tiinazve champion David Siampondo vachange vachitijoina vanenge vachitaura nesu nezvanga zvichiitika, zvanga zvichidikika, zvanga zvichiitika vachava vachitsanangura vega. But ndataura nguva yedu ndoda kungokuchingamidzai iwa vatariri vateereri kwese kwese kwamuri. Ndoda kungopa mukana uno kuna machampions vari muno matiinavo kuti vakuchingamidzeiwo. Champion Jory, I hand over to you to greet over the viewers.
Thank you very much, Champion Sophia. And I want to thank you for the opportunity that you've just given me. We appreciate the time that we are going to be having today. And to the viewers, thank you very much for being with us. We are going to be giving you all that you need to hear from us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Champion. Thank you for that warm welcome to our viewers and our listeners. Then tina mukoma makomborero Arizuvishe, please can you welcome the viewers?
Revolutionary greetings to you all. It's great to meet on this platform for change, which to illuminate the voices of the ordinary citizens in pursuit of real change that delivers in Zimbabwe.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Champion Mako, for that warm welcome. Right, let's not take much time. Let's go straight into it. So at the beginning of the week, we had President Nelson Chamisa going over to Kondo in Chipinge, where there was a thank you rally, and it was a well-attended function where people came in their thousands and just wanted to hear the president. Let's take a look at some of the photos of what was happening in Chipinge as we talk about that. There we go, a jubilant crowd, a welcoming crowd, and hungry for change, hungry for the new great Zimbabwe, where we had the president coming and speak and encourage all Zimbabweans to come in their thousands, come in their millions, and voting for change next year's 2023 elections. But unfortunately, we also had the police firing live bullets at CCC supporters in Matobo. This is not new. This is in the DNA of ZANU-PF and the state, that anyone who seems to be an opponent or anyone who seems to be a challenge to them then comes and is intimidated and is tortured. So we stand in solidarity with those CCC members, those opposition members who were in Matobo and had live bullets fired onto them. But I just want to stop there for a moment because we have Champion Loveness and Tatsikwa Namkanya. I just want to stop there just for them to greet the viewers before we carry on. Champion Loveness, please greet the viewers.
Thank you, Leader Sophie. How are you, Champion? Let me say greetings to you, our panelists, this evening, this morning. I don't know wherever you are. I'm happy to be with you. And I would like to greet our viewers and listeners and say welcome to Change Radio. Welcome to our favorite radio. And thank you for following us. Thank you for joining us on this program. Thank you, Leader Sophie.
Thank you, Leader Loveness. Mukanya, tinokuchingamidzai.
Yes, thank you very much, and Zimbabweans across the world. Thank you very much. I'm not going to be staying long because I'm in a meeting. I just, stepped aside so that I could talk about UNGA. I know you want to talk about that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You were singing, and we know from the voices, the videos that we're seeing, you were on the microphone. We saw the action.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, all right. We won't take a lot of time, but let's just continue from where we were talking about police firing live bullets at CCC members in Matobo. And we just coincided with the President Nelson Chamisa, also relieving his experiences at the hands of ZANU-PF, his horrific experiences at the hands of ZANU-PF, where he was beaten, he was tortured, he was left for dead. And, the situation that we're in at the moment in Zimbabwe, which is what everyone is fighting for freedom, so that people can have opportunities to have freedom of speech, freedom of association, and to just generally lead dignified lives in Zimbabwe. We also, I just want at this moment maybe just to ask Champion Denford Jori to just talk briefly about fix our healthcare system, and then we go into the UNGA, after which I'll ask Chief Soshe to come in and just give us what was going on in New York.
Okay. Thank you very much, Leader Sophie. And I think I need to quickly go through the state of affairs within our healthy delivery system in Zimbabwe. Before I would continue with my submission on the health care system in our country, I think it is imperative that we need to emphasize the point that the provision of health in our country, it's a constitutional right that's actually enshrined within our supreme law. So Section 76 of our constitution actually provides for every Zimbabwean permanent resident that they need to actually access quality health care. So that's what we need to understand, and the provision should has to come from the government. For those who can afford, definitely they will use their resources to go and get health care provision from any other institutions, either within the country or outside the country. But what we are going to be mainly dwelling on is the issue of saying what is the state of our infrastructural and personnel or human resources in as far as the health system in Zimbabwe is concerned. We need to understand that most of the structures in as far as hospitals, clinics, and any other health provision structures in Zimbabwe, they were built during the Smith regime. A very few, if I can say, of the structures that were built post-independence, and it's only the maintenance that is taking place. So what we are going to be seeing is even the maintenance of the pre-independence structures of health, the government has not managed to do that. But I want to highlight this point to say the maintenance or the building of new hospitals in Zimbabwe doesn't need that much money to conclude that the Zimbabwean government won't be able to build such structures. So the deficiencies that we are having as far as our hospitals, in as far as our clinics, in as far as the remuneration of our personnel, doctors, nurses, and nurse aides in Zimbabwe, it is not because of the insufficiency of finances within our country. We have got resources, we have got finances in our country, but misappropriation of our funds is the one reason that has resulted in the deterioration of our infrastructural resources within across the country. So I think I'm going to be giving a particular example of what is transpiring in our country. We have a situation in which every year every government department is allocated its budgetary finances. And for health, it is allocated 15%. And 15% is so substantial amount of money that if it is well used, then all the money can be used to help what has to be done. But even within the system itself, there's misappropriation of the finances that are supposed to be directed to the need in the health section. So when we talk about the infrastructural issues within the health system, we talk of buildings. There is a particular example that just happened recently, where we had a situation where a child who had gone to Pararenyatwa hospital had to actually got injured. Why? Because of the crumbling of the ceiling of the Pararenyatwa, one of the section of Pararenyatwa hospital. This actually comes to an indication that the building wasn't maintained, and people who are supposed to be responsible for that did not take due diligence on maintaining the building. And unfortunately, it is not only the incident that happened in Pararenyatwa. There could be other instances, or there could be other places where we have hospitals or structures that are not in good state, and maybe it is because of their remoteness, or because the personnel there are afraid to report such things. But a lot of those things are actually happening. And we also need to move on to the issue of, I think as we talk about our health system and what we have in Zimbabwe, we realize that we had an incident just a few months ago, a few weeks ago, when there was someone, a lady from Zimbabwe, who went to South Africa and went to Limpopo. When she went there, there was a lot of issues that took place there, and the MEC for Limpopo, she actually had to have some words with her in as far as the fact that she had gone to take medication in South Africa while she is supposed to be having that in Zimbabwe. And that thing, it shows that Zimbabweans could not manage to, they actually don't trust their healthcare system, and that's why they crossed to South Africa. And unfortunately, this is what is happening. It is not only that lady who had to get into Limpopo, but a number of Zimbabweans. Maybe statistically saying, we realize that in Bedbridge alone, most people, they actually skip to Messina hospitals, and they need to go and attend to be attended to by the South African authorities. Unfortunately, South Africa is being overwhelmed, and that is why we are getting a situation in which people are no longer happy. And if we have a situation in which the authorities themselves are the ones that are now speaking out, we used to have a situation where ordinary people on the grounds were complaining about the influx of Zimbabweans getting into South Africa to seek health care, amongst other needs that they would need. But unfortunately, we are now having authorities actually talking. And when the MEC was speaking, she ended up actually talking to the fact that, are you going to be paying for this? And if you can pay, Emerson Mnangagwa is the one who is supposed to be paying for your bills. It is a sign that things are not all right. And when we talk about people who are close to Zambia, close to, I think that is in Victoria Falls, they also cross the borders cross the border to go to Livingston, a hospital there. They want to seek also medical attention. Why? Because they now realize that in Zambia, their healthcare system is just improved. And by the way, we used it to actually laugh at Zambians, knowing that their infrastructure were not as good as our infrastructure. Guess what? HH just got in power just 12 months ago. When he got into power 12 months ago, things have just changed. Now we are crossing into Zambia to get medication. In Zimbabwe, things are not all right. Unfortunately, those who are close to Botswana, there's not that exodus of people coming from Zimbabwe going to Botswana. Why? Because the policy for Botswana is different. When you go to Botswana, you need to pay upfront. And that is the reason why we have a situation in which we don't have more Zimbabweans getting into Botswana. Why? Because they would need to get medical attention. This is what is happening within our healthcare system. It is why, because we do not have the resources. And I want to repeat this. The resources are there, but they are being misappropriated. The government, our regime is not taking care of its people. And unfortunately, that's we are where we are because of the irresponsible, the not caring government. And we also have a situation in which in rural areas, there are some people, unfortunately, our people are not educated. They need so much of education as far as what their rights are as people who are or recipients of healthcare system. We have situations where in rural areas, when people, especially pregnant women, when they know that they are going to be having a C-section or any other operations, they are made to bring with them a 3-liter bottle of diesel, and this diesel is supposed to be used as a backup for any blackout that can take place. You know, the issue of electricity is unreliable in our country, and as a result, this is what is happening. Poor people, I'm not too sure where they get the resources to go and buy the diesel. And there are also reports that even the authorities at those clinics in rural areas, they are abusing the diesel that is coming with those poor people. And they pretend as if they've used the generators, but they would not have used it. They take the diesel, they sell it on the black market, and they actually empower themselves from the poor people that do not have anything. Unfortunately, that's what is happening on the ground.
So it's actually a case of stealing from the poor.
I beg your pardon, come again, Champion?
So it's actually a case of we're actually now stealing from the poor.
That's exactly what is happening, Champion. That people they don't have a heart. A person they are seeking medical care at the clinic, but on top of that, she's supposed to bring with her things that are supposed to be provided by the government. And when she provides for that, that thing is not going to be used. And the authorities that are there, they are the ones that are going to be stealing from her. And just imagine the situation in which our people are being asked to provide. You see. Right.
But you know, I'm actually intrigued that you're talking about the whole breakdown of the whole system. A couple of weeks ago, you know, personally, and I'm talking about this because this happened within my own family, where we have a relative who has stage 4 cancer, And we all know, it's been a song that there are no cancer machines in Zimbabwe, and so much, this gold that is being stolen can buy so many cancer machines. But it's actually gotten a notch up where there are no painkillers. And we all know cancer, when it gets to that stage, it's very painful, and it needs, particular painkillers, not just, the pain ease that they're being told to go and buy, which is just an aspirin. And even if they want to go and buy aspirin, sometimes you get there's no aspirin. They were actually told to resort to go and give her marijuana so that she smokes marijuana and gets relief from her pain. So, this is just exactly what you're talking about. I think every Zimbabwean can relate, if they are to be honest, that they know someone knows someone. There's a picture of someone who was told to go and get Chinese herbs as cancer treatment, cancer therapy. If you see on the receipt, it says cancer therapy, STC Chinese herbs. And, if you have a medical appreciation, you know that, okay, you know what, this is not what people should be prescribed in a normal functional medical or medicine industry. So exactly what you're talking about, we can relate. I don't know, Champion Loveness, if you're there, would you mind to step in and just, just to dissect this topic before Champion Jory goes on to his next topic, which is the UNGA demonstrations? Champion Loveness.
Oh, sorry, leader. On this issue of hospitals, is something that is not going well. Let me take an example of what happened in Limpopo. I think that caused a lot of confusion, and that caused a lot of influence to South Africans at large, because I think something like 4 days back, at another hospital here in South Africa, there is another lady who gave birth, and she died after she was bleeding and no one was attending to her. So it's something that people are saying, maybe because of Popi Ramaphosa, that incident which happened in Limpopo. This is why some of the people in other hospitals are now being ignorant to foreigners, especially Zimbabweans. And this is because of our government, which is not taking care of our hospitals back home. Because most of the people are coming here for treatment. We cannot go back to Zim. I can say an example of myself. I lost my sister-in-law in Zimbabwe just because they refused to take care of her. She didn't pay money for a treatment. The day that I sent her money kuti arapwe, that was the day when she died. Akarwara ari muhospital vachimutarisa vachiti hatikwanisa kumurapa because haana kubhadhara. The day that I paid for a medication, there was no treatment. So I don't know that excuse yokuti hatikwanisa kumurapa, it was something else. Yet treatment yanga historical, just because of our government which is failing to take care of the hospitals. So this thing is not going well. I don't know, it's a situation which needs to be addressed. So it's affecting us, it's affecting our citizens all over the world. That's all I can say for now.
Very, very valid points that you make there, and very, very sad that we are in this state because of a failed, illegitimate government who only think about themselves and who are not thinking about the citizens at large who are suffering, which is why it's very important. I think I just want to take this opportunity to remind our viewers and our listeners to go and register to vote. Go and register to vote, go and vote, and go and defend the vote. I know that the election is not happening in a conducive environment, but we just need to go in our millions, register to vote, vote, and defend the vote. If you don't know where you can vote, the toll-free number that you can call, it's a free phone number that you can phone to find out where you can register to vote, and what you need to take when you register to vote is 08080219. I'm going to ask the admin in the background if we can just flight that number so that our viewers can take note of that number and pass it on to everyone that you know. 080219. Or if you're an Econet or a Net1 subscriber, you can dial *265# from your number from your phone and just follow the instructions. So it's *265# and just follow the instructions. Register to vote, vote, and defend the vote. And let us just, do all of this for everyone to bring back dignity to the lives of all Zimbabweans, not just the select few who can afford to because they're either stealing or misappropriating funds like what Champion Denford Jody said, but for every single Zimbabwean to have a dignified life. Let's do this for ourselves. Let's do this for the country. Champion Denford Jody, before I ask you, I'm going to ask Chief Shosho just to talk briefly about the UNGA activities that was happening, and then I can come back to you because I understand he's rushing somewhere. So Chief Shosho, if you can hear me, would like you to come back and just talk to us about UNGA. But while he's coming, maybe Champion Jody, you can take us into UNGA, then Vanokugashira Ipakati, and we'll just flow like that.
Okay, thank you very much, Leader Sophie there. And I don't think I'm going to be taking much of our time on this. I've talked much on the health provision system in Zimbabwe. But one thing I think that I need also to just talk about on the UNGA demonstrations is the demonstration. There was such a success. It was very successful, and I've been going through a number of UNGA demonstrations that used to happen before. You realize that numerically this has been the well attended demonstration, and the fact that unfortunately on the side of ordinary people who might not actually read events that are happening, they would think that it was a flop. Why would they say that? It is because of the propaganda that was being peddled by the regime, and the fact that the regime has actually used so much of its resources to try to peddle lies about what was happening in New York. It actually implies that this thing had a huge impact on the international arena as well as in our domestic politics, because the whole objective of people going to demonstrate at UNGA 2022 was to say Zimbabwe has been left alone, especially in as far as the electoral reforms that we are clamoring for, that we are crying for, and as well as the issue of human rights violations that are taking place in our country, the issue of impunity amongst the ZANU-PF militia, the ZANU-PF war veterans, and even from within the security, our security sector. So the issue of the attendance of our members, our citizens that went to New York, I think we need to give them a pat at their back or a thumbs up. Why? Because I've been communicating with people on the ground, the likes of Chief Soswe, the likes of Dr. Maifa, the likes of Baba Gwekwere, and so on and so on. We have been in touch, and they will be sending us live visuals from New York. We have seen that people were actually coming in. We had a situation in which even the presidential spokesperson went out to give lies or to give their propaganda to say there are some people who were actually given $500 in order for them to leave Zimbabwe and go to United States of America for the demonstrations. Really, at our financial state, do you think CCC would use such resources to stage manage a situation where people can actually do their own thing? That is a false narrative. But I can always say the fact that the regime has put so much resources on speaking propaganda on the effects and the progress of what has been happening as far as the demonstrations are concerned, I think it is an indication that UNGA demonstrations were so successful. And maybe moving aside from the issue of the demonstrations, we also, I don't know if Chief Soswe is here. Maybe I can go ahead when he wants to speak.
I don't think Chief is here, but we've got leadership from the NAP who have just joined us. Welcome. If you can hear me, we are talking about the UNGA demonstrations and how successful they were and the wonderful job that you've been doing. I know you've just gotten home and you're on maybe you're just settling down, but if you can just take us through what was happening and just to put us up to date and the viewers as well on the activities that were taking place at UNGA. Can you hear me? I think yes, you're muted.
Okay, okay, that's fine. I think I'm having a problem with the sound.
No, now we can hear you perfectly.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Yeah, but I can't hear you. That's the problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can hear you. So can you just tell us, just give us a brief of what was happening at UNGA in short?
Okay, yeah. So what was happening is that the citizens of Zimbabwe gathered yesterday at the UN headquarters to express their displeasure in the manner in which the government of Zimbabwe is running the country, particularly ZANU-PF led by Emerson Mnangagwa. As you all may know, people in the diaspora, they are not there by choice, they are not there by design, but most of them, they are there because of the push factors, which include political victimization. Some ran away from being arrested, some ran away from being tortured, some ran away from being put in jails and so forth, and some ran away because there are no opportunities